Greetings, GenderqueerChat viewers. It is in the wee hours of the morning, and I need to be asleep because I have a very, very long day ahead of me. But I've got to make this video. So, I am filling in for, I believe it was Ricky again this week, as my previous substitution a few weeks ago. So, today the topic is a question, I believe it's from Facebook. The message is, "Hey, I've been watching your channel for quite a while now and found last week's topic especially helpful." Yeah, awesome. Since I'm still not identifying with any label really because of a lack of dysphoria, I was wondering if you could talk about identifying as trans/genderqueer without facing dysphoria. Do you think that's possible? Is the genderqueer identity the result of suffering from dysphoria equally when you put in the male or female category? When you're put in the male or female category, do you think dysphoria is the single reason that causes people to identify with a specific label of the transgender umbrella or not? Or if not, what else makes you genderqueer or FTM or MTF? Is there such a feeling as being male or female or neither or both? Or is it mainly a response to what society taught us about gender? I'm sleepy. Okay, tired. So, my answer to this is a long question, but I love this. This is a fantastic topic. I love this. So, I know I wrote a comment on Matt's video, to which I gave a very, very short summary of my thoughts on this topic, because I was very excited about this topic. I didn't think that I would get a chance to actually make a video. So, with that being said, I will try to find this and see if I can reiterate what it is that I wrote. Okay, so the first issue with this, as Matt addressed, is how is it that you define dysphoria? Now, I briefly wrote that the dictionary definition of it is technically, gonna just look this up right now. Well, basically it's like a state of unease. Yes, a state of unease or generalized dissatisfaction with life. The opposite of euphoria. Haha. I did not know that until I looked it up in my little handy dandy dictionary that I have on my computer. So, dysphoria can be, obviously we're talking about gender dysphoria in this instance. So, it could be, I believe it to be anything that is social, physical, whatever. And I feel like, and this is what I wrote, I feel like if you're going to be questioning your gender at all, I would think that you would have some sort of unease, some sort of state of unease with the gender that you were assigned to, the sex that you were assigned to. So, I think, could you be trans or genderqueer without facing dysphoria? It depends on your definition of dysphoria. I think it's possible to be trans or genderqueer without feeling bad about your body at all. You can certainly be trans or genderqueer feeling like you're in the right body, feeling like your body is fine the way it is. But I would think that if you're going to question your gender, there's got to be some unease, right, with the gender that you were assigned, whether it be what society tells you about your gender, or whether it be your physical body and the masculine or feminine things that are about it, whether it's your genitals or secondary sex characteristics or anything. I would think that there would be something there, I would think. Some sort of, like I said, state of unease. So, can you be trans or genderqueer without facing dysphoria? Well, it depends on your definition of dysphoria. With the definition that I gave, I mean, I don't know. I think it's, I don't know, because I don't know all the genderqueer people or trans people in the world. So maybe there is a case out there where absolutely there's someone who has, no issue, but you'd have to have some sort of, I don't know, this is my line of thinking, is you have to have some sort of issue with the gender that you were assigned to be questioning it and to be labeling yourself as not the gender that you were assigned. Then you have to have an issue with it to try to label yourself as something else, if that makes any sense. I would think there's got to be something there, some sort of, state of unease or what have you. Is the genderqueer identity the result of suffering from dysphoria equally when put into the male or female category? No, not equally. I think there's got to be some unease with both categories, as I think was mentioned earlier, but to be equally, I mean, that's possible, certainly, that is one possibility, but not necessarily. Because for me personally, I feel, well, it depends on the situation. Let's be honest, it depends on the situation whether I feel more unease, more dysphoria from being put in the male category or being put in the female category. Sometimes I feel worse being put in the female category, sometimes I feel worse being put in the male category. It depends. So, do you think, yeah, so it doesn't have to be equal. Do you think dysphoria is a single reason that causes people to identify with a specific label of the transgender umbrella? And if not, what else makes you genderqueer or FTM, MTF? Well, given the extremely broad definition that is given in the dictionary, a state of unease or general dissatisfaction with life, I think I could pretty much say that it could be the single reason that causes people to identify with, because it's unease. You are unsatisfied with the gender that you were assigned, so you seek another label. I would think that is the story of any trans person under the transgender umbrella. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's exceptions that I'm not aware of. That's possible. I don't know. But I would think that's generally what happens, is you feel unease with the gender that you were assigned, and you attempt to, and I would hope successfully find a label or something else that fits you. And if that means no labels, well, it's fine too. But it's moving away from your label of your assigned gender. So to identify with a specific label of the transgender umbrella. Well, okay. So dysphoria, being a state of unease, is the reason that people, I would think, would not identify with their assigned gender and attempt to move away from that. The labeling yourself as a specific label and attaching to that, moving from your assigned gender label to something else and latching onto that. The act of latching onto that doesn't necessarily have to be 100% dysphoria, because dysphoria is dissatisfaction with what you have. You have to have some form of satisfaction with what you're becoming, or what your label you're finding yourself as. So I can't just because I'm dissatisfied with being labeled female doesn't mean that I instantly go to genderqueer, right? There has to be, I have to find something positive about genderqueer just as much as I find negative things about being female. I hope that makes sense. So yes, I guess then there is. In the act of identifying yourself as a specific label, you have to find something positive about that. You could almost say that you find dysphoria with your assigned gender, and you find euphoria with your new gender identity that you label yourself as. Identify with, whatever. So you have to identify with something, right? to say, hey, this pulls at my heartstrings. It is me. I'm so tired. But it's true. It's true. So, yeah, the genderqueer label is, I mean, I like to, for a while, I think I'd just like to say that I'm androgynous, except the way that people say that they are androgynous, the definition for it is much more focused on looks. You look androgynous rather than your gender identity is androgynous. So I really like the sound of the word androgynous. I like that word, but I don't like androgen for some reason. It just sounds weird. I don't know why. I like androgynous, but I don't like androgen for some reason. So I didn't really use androgen to describe my gender, and everybody uses genderqueer, so I picked genderqueer because it was the most easy to understand, right? Out of in this non-binary community. And it is accurate that I don't identify strictly as male or female. Yeah, I would think that you, to latch onto a label, you identify with it, you find positive things about it, you have an epiphany, you have euphoria, opposite of dysphoria, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something that draws you to it. It's some... What the heck is wrong with my computer? Okay. Is there such a feeling of feeling male or female or neither or both, or is it mainly a response to what society taught us about gender? Oh, this is such a tough question because it invokes the age-old question of nature versus nurture, which I have thought about in terms, especially in terms of gender, for a while. So this is the question of, well, okay. So what I wrote on my little comment on Matt's video is that, here's what I know. I know that trans people, some trans people, wish to physically or medically transition. They feel the need to change their body. Not just, you know, I identify as blah, 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 blah. This is a very physical thing to them. And, not to mention, it is a thing that they... A lot of trans people, not all, but a lot of them feel that they identify as the opposite sex from what they were assigned, or, you know, whatever, something else than what they were assigned, very early in life. Now, the question is it innate, or is it, are they born with it, or are we just taught about gender at such an early age that, you know, it's like we're taught it before, you know, for our first memories or whatever. I don't know. So, is there a feeling of being male or female or neither or both, or is it mainly a response to what society tells us about gender? I don't know. It's the question of nature versus nurture, and I can't tell you. So, being that I'm over 15 minutes, I need to stop this. So, thank you for letting me sub this week. Like I said, the last question, nature versus nurture, I don't know. I think it's a mix of both. That's my theory, like I said, because if people are actually physically transitioning, and it's, you know, it seems to be a lot of the time from a young age, and anyway, is there such a feeling as male or female or both or neither? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's too late for me. I need to get to sleep, so I gotta say goodbye. If I think of anything else, I'll try to put in the comments or something. Alright, have a good night, guys, or day, or what have you. See you later.